Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video we are gonna be talking about vehicles. Specifically, what is the best vehicle to live in? If you have been looking into Vanlife or wanting to try it out or researching about it, I think the one question that everybody has before they start the lifestyle is what vehicle to get. And there's so many different vehicle options out there, and there is no one size fits all vehicle. It all depends on your lifestyle, on your adventures, where you want to go, what do you want to do, how long you're going to do it for, and so on. And in this video I'm here to help you to decide on what vehicle you might want to get. There's plenty of them. I'm going to be talking about all of them. Out of all the vehicles that I'm going to be talking today, there's going to be 4 vehicles that I personally lived in and traveled in, so I have a lot of knowledge about those vehicles. And then the other vehicles that I've never lived in or tried at, I know from talking to other van dwellers, other travelers, and I kind of be going off of their experience and what I learned from them. So I'm by no means an expert in van life or any of that stuff or vehicles. I just speak from my personal experience and the experience of other people that I've talked to, have met while on the road. Anyways, I'm gonna start blubbering on and let's get right into it. So the first vehicle that you have an option for is just a regular car, like a 4-door sedan, just a regular car. And I've lived in one of those. That was my first vehicle I ever traveled in and lived in. I had a Toyota Camry, and that was kind of like an introduction for me into this lifestyle. I took it from Seattle to Denver and back. I took it into the mountains and stuff like that. So that was my first introduction to this lifestyle. The pros of it is it's small, so you can get into a lot of places where you cannot get a bigger vehicle, and the gas mileage is way better than pretty much any other vehicle out there that you can live in. It is very stealthy. You can park it virtually anywhere and not have to worry about people knocking on your windows or getting, cops called on you and stuff like that, because it is very stealthy, especially if you cover your windows with something black and not reflective. Cons is very, very small. There's very limited space. Very small. There's very limited space. You're not going to be able to be really comfortable while living in such a small vehicle. Another con is that you would constantly have to move things from the back seat to the front seat, from under the seat to the dash, and so on. You're always going to be moving things, and it is going to get old and tiring pretty fast. Another one is you probably not gonna have space for the passengers. Your bed is probably gonna be in the back seat or in the front passenger seat, and your vehicle is gonna be stuffed. So no hitchhikers for you, no friends that come along with you. That's not gonna happen. The small vehicle is good if you're traveling by yourself or you just want to try it out first. If you already have that vehicle and you want to try out the lifestyle, it's a perfect vehicle to start with, because buying a van and then converting it, or buying a already converted van, is going to cost money. And if van life is not for you, it is better to learn about it with the vehicle you already have before you invest in something like this. Another con is the ground clearance is very low, so you're not going to be able to get to the off the beat paths very easily. You'll be able to get to some, but not all of them. You're definitely not going to be, climbing mountains in that vehicle. Okay, the second vehicle is an SUV. So it's very similar to the regular sedan car, but it has a few more advantages. So the pros of that one is it has a little bit more space. So the back seats you can fully take out and or put them down to the ground and make a nice bed in there for you. So there's definitely more room. It has higher ground clearance, so you're going to be able to go to more places in that vehicle. Stealth. It is just as stealthy as a 4-door sedan, especially if you don't have like a tent on top of it or anything outside that indicates that you might be living in it. The cons of it is, once again, space. Even though it has more space than the regular 4-door sedan, it's still not a lot of space. You're still going to be very cramped in there. If you have another person with you, it's going to be even tougher. Once again, you're not going to be able to pick up hitchhikers because your back seats are going to be pretty much gone. And even though it has more space, you would need to move things from the front to the back and vice versa all the time, and it is gonna get tiring. I've also lived in an SUV before. That was my Toyota RAV4. That was my car after my Camry. And I've traveled to many places with it, and I lived in it for weeks and months at a time, and I loved it. And that's when I've kind of started to decide that van life could be something for me. Third vehicle option is a minivan. So with minivans, the gas mileage is going to be very similar to the four-door sedan and SUV, which is amazing, and it's also very stealthy. You can park it virtually anywhere. It has more space than an SUV, which is nice. So you'll be able to be a little bit more comfortable, but still, you would still probably have to move things from the back to the front all the time, depending on how much stuff you have. The cons of it is the ground clearance is not as good as an SUV, so you're not gonna be able to get to many off-road places, but it is still small, so you'll be able to get to more places than like a gigantic RV. It doesn't have as much space as a bigger vehicles, so it's not gonna be as quite as comfortable. The comforts of changing clothes. I don't know if you guys ever tried changing clothes in a car or an SUV or a minivan, but it's tough, especially if your windows are not covered. There is virtually no privacy because you have so many windows. I've also lived in a minivan. I had what was it, a Dodge? I forget the brand, but it was a gray minivan that I got, and I've traveled all the way around country in it. I went all the way from Seattle to Chicago in it, and down to let's see, California and Denver. I went all around in a minivan, and I loved it. And that car was pretty much the deciding point for me that van life is something that I really want to do, and it's something for me. Okay, so now let's move into vans. This is what I have right now. So cargo van, panel van, whatever you want to call it. I love this vehicle, and it's probably one of the more popular choices in van life lifestyle or community. You'll see them everywhere, and there's a few different types of van I'm going to be talking about. So right now we're talking about cargo panel van. Pros of the cargo panel van: it is a blank canvas if you buy it not converted already. So you can do a custom build on it, so you can make it look any way you want to and be as comfortable as you want to. It has higher security due to less windows. It is more stealthy than other type of vans we're going to be talking about, but it also depends on your external setup. So if you have like ladders on the side and a bunch of solar panels and water tanks on top, then it's not as stealthy. But it can be stealthy if you don't have external camping setup. The ground clearance is high enough where you can go off-road a little bit. Depends if you have a four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive. This van is a two-wheel drive, but we have taken it off-road many times, and so far we've been good. Space is amazing. You have plenty of space where you can have a bedroom and a kitchen and a bathroom and everything you'll need to survive, but it's not a super gigantic vehicle where it's going to be hard to park it or take it anywhere. Typical vans can fit in a normal parking spot, so parking is not going to be an issue as some other vehicles we're going to be talking about. Another pros to having a cargo van is that are virtually everywhere. The parts are easier to find and the parts are cheaper. They are easy to work on, especially the older vans that don't have a lot of computer electronics in them, so that's a plus. So if you do break down, you'll be able to find parts pretty much anywhere you're at, especially if you get like a Chevy or Ford van. The cons of it: you have to build it out, so you would have to spend money and time building it out, and usually the angles and the curves of the van are hard, so you have to kind of custom build it. You can't buy already made furniture and like cut it to size, adjust it to whatever you need, but you still need to do some custom work. Another con is gas mileage. There is no van out there that has amazing gas mileage, so that you would have to take that into account. Another con is because these vans are usually used for utility work, they are going to be somewhat beat up and usually have higher mileage on them. You can find vans that don't have as many miles on them, like this one. This is a 1997, and when we got it, it only had like 85,000 miles in it. So you can find vans that are in better condition, but a lot of them that you're gonna find if you're buying used ones, like the older ones, are gonna be somewhat beat up and have a lot of miles on it. but it's easy to work on them and easy to replace the parts, so that's good. If you're buying like a Chevy van or a Ford van, like a cargo van, another con would be is you're not gonna be able to stand up in it, but you can also look into the sprinters that are taller, or you can put a high top on your van which give you more room and you'll be able to stand up in it. So that's not really a con because you can fix that yourself or buy like a sprinter van if you want to. Another van is already built out camper vans. Those are amazing because they're already built out. You don't have to build them. However, with that, you have to remember that that van used to be somebody else's home at some point, or a vacation home. So some things you might have to change or clean. It usually has more windows in it, so you're gonna have more light, and then everything else is pretty much gonna be the same, just like a panel or a cargo van. Now let's move on to the bigger options, I guess, and a little bit more complicated options. So your first option is a pickup with a camper in the back of it. If you already have a pickup truck, then getting a little camper to put in the back of it is going to be the cheaper way of getting an RV. There are a lot of advantages to it and disadvantages. So the advantages is you already have a pickup truck, so you already have a regular car that you can put an RV type thing in the back of it. Usually those already come pre-made with everything you ever need, so you're not gonna have to build anything. If you have a truck that is a four-wheel drive, then you'll be able to go to more places with it, like off-road, off the beaten path kind of places. It's versatile. You can take the camper off and leave it on your campsite and use your truck as an everyday vehicle or haul something, which is amazing. Disadvantages are that you can't really get from the driving area to the back area. You have to leave your truck and get into the camper from behind, as far as I know. So if it's raining, it's not gonna be nice, or if you have to leave in an emergency, like there's somebody outside of your truck and they're up to no good, then you can't just hop in the driver's seat and leave. You have to leave the camper, go outside, get into the truck and drive off. The camper area is smaller than in a typical RV. So if you have a family of 4, that might not quite work, but if you just by yourself, then it could be a great option for you. So now let's talk about RVs. We're gonna start with the Class A. Class A RVs are huge. So advantages of this are, it's huge. It is like having an apartment or a house. I've lived and seen apartments that are smaller than some of the Class A's, so that's tell you something. It already comes with everything, including washer and dry in a lot of them. So you wouldn't have to buy anything, you wouldn't have to install anything, you wouldn't have to build anything. It's already a made apartment or house on wheels, which is nice. Some of them reach up to 45 feet and have slide out. So virtually you can have a full house on wheels, which is amazing. There are a lot of disadvantages to it. Number one is the price. Those puppies cost a lot of money. You can buy houses for way cheaper than a Class A in some areas of the country. Another disadvantage is the gas. You're gonna blow your budget on gas alone, especially if you're gonna be traveling at a full time and taking long trips. Another disadvantage is finding free camping areas is gonna be tough in this thing. Not a lot of free campsites or boondocking areas are set up for Class A RVs. There is no stuff involved in that thing, so you would have to spend a lot of time in actual campgrounds, which can add up to a lot of money because those campsites cost money. Once you park that thing, you can't really go anywhere. You can't really just leave unless you're towing a car behind. So now let's move on to the next class, which is Class B. Class B is pretty much just like a regular van that's already built out. Usually Class Bs are a little bit bigger than a regular cargo van or camper van, and they usually have everything in it, including a little shower and a bathroom. Class Bs are usually less expensive than other RV types such as Class A and Class C. They are more economical. They're already built out to have everything you need in it, which is nice, and they have a better gas mileage than other RVs. The disadvantages, they're still gonna be pretty expensive because they're already built out. They're not as spacious or as comfortable as a bigger RVs. And another RV is the Class C. Class C is typically smaller than Class A, but bigger than Class B. It's right in the middle. The gas mileage is going to be better than Class A, but worse than Class B. The size-wise and comfort-wise, it's going to be better than Class B, but worse than Class A. And stuff like that. So it's right in the middle of those two. Parking wise, it's going to be a little bit easier to park than a Class A, and you can definitely boondock in a Class C RV in a lot of places, but it's not going to be as easy as in a Class B or like a regular van or a regular car. And its Class C's are still pretty big, so finding parking spots in the city is going to be tougher, and the gas mileage is not going to be as great. And Class C's can also be expensive, especially if you're buying the newer ones. You can buy the cheaper ones, but usually with those, they are gonna have problems. The Class C's RVs are not built to be lived in. So if you're gonna be living in it full time and traveling it full time, just remember that you would constantly need to work on it and fix things, because they're not built to last. They're not built to withhold constant moving and constant traveling. So just be aware of that. And now let's move on to the last vehicles I'm going to be talking about, and those probably going to be my favorite. So one is the school bus. Advantages of having a school bus is the space. There is so much space, especially if you buy the bigger one. Number two, they're built to last. They are very strong and they're built to last, so that's good. Number three, there's school bus all over the country, so finding parts in it and mechanics that can work in it is going to be a lot easier. They typically way cheaper than RVs that are similar size to them, which is amazing. And you can custom build them, so you don't have to be stuck with the design of the interior like with the RV. You can build it to whatever you want it to be, and there's plenty of room to build anything you ever need to. The gas mileage is typically a little bit better than the bigger RVs, which is also an advantage. Disadvantages, they're big, so parking is going to be tough to find. The gas mileage is going to be definitely worse than the smaller van or regular car. It's not stealthy at all, so if there's a school bus that is not yellow and painted any other color, then automatically people are gonna know that you live in there. Now the disadvantage is some RV parks might not let you in. Unless you fully converted and switch the title to an RV title and stuff like that. But even with that, some RV parks might not let you in. And because it's so big, it's going to be harder to get to some of the secluded areas, like the secluded beach or somewhere where there's not a lot of people out there. Okay, and last but not least is the Unimog. Probably the vehicle I want the most. Unimogs are they used to be built for military, and now people use them to travel in. I've seen a few of them on the road now and absolutely love them. The advantages are you can pretty much get anywhere in that vehicle. If you wanna go to the top of the mountain, you can probably get in that vehicle. They are monster machines. They are big, so you can have a comfortable living in those. They're not gonna be as big as a Class A or even a Class C, but there's enough space for you to have a nice, comfortable studio apartment, which is amazing. They are super, super cool, which is also another advantage of it. The disadvantages are they are expensive. I'm talking about $100,000s of dollars expensive. Parts are going to be very, very hard to find because there are not many of them around here, and you would probably have to import parts, and it's probably going to be very, very expensive. And finding a mechanic that can work on one, it's going to be tough. Another disadvantage is gas. As far as I know, they eat a lot of gas, so that's going to be expensive as well. And another disadvantage is if you do get stuck for some reason, good luck finding a tractor or a tow big enough to tow that thing out, because that thing is heavy and very, very hard to probably get out of the road. Okay guys, this is gonna be it for this video. I really hope you find it helpful and you liked it. Please don't forget to hit that like button down below and leave me some comments down below as well, and let me know what you think about it. If you have any other vehicles that I forgot to mention, or if you have any other advantages or disadvantages you want to add to the list that I gave in this video. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. Also guys, don't forget to click the subscribe button down below and click that bell notification so you get notified every time I upload a new video. Anyways guys, thank you, and I will see you on the next one.